Okay, yes. Thank you, Mohammed, for this. Uh, so let's step further. Now, we have shared a lot of the processes of study abroad, which was earlier not shared anywhere. This processes is shared so that everybody understand how study abroad works, and does take study abroad process seriously, because a lot of the students, what they do is they apply and they get the visa refusal, and the whole process basically is to see that you get admission and you get your visa and probably get scholarship as well. So most of these processes I explained. I'm sure if you have missed any of these links, you can go to the YouTube EACC-Education Abroad Counseling Center and look at those sessions, because these are all valuable teachings that has been done first time probably, and is available on YouTube to everybody. So do take the benefit. It doesn't matter. Basically, the objective is that your career dreams are should be fulfilled, because you are the future of this country, and it is. I feel it's a responsibility of we people to see that right guidance and right counseling is provided to you. Uh, Taking forward regarding the company education abroad counseling center, it all normally takes a couple of clicks to explain this. So education abroad counseling center, EACC as it is called, it started in Feb 2000. Our vision is to educate the youth by providing them with study abroad career options worldwide. Our mission to help 10 lakh high school and graduate students achieve career growth using pre-application technology. We have counseled more than 13,500 students, all major countries, all levels, and all major programs. That's the USP. Very few study abroad counseling centers can provide all country, all level, and all programs. We provide guaranteed admissions, or we refund your counseling fee back. This is because of the pre-application process that we follow, and we this with this process we are able to give you guaranteed admission. Having said that, okay, I have still not changed this. Now, today we are going to talk about the financial documents and other things. So sorry about this. Let me basically hide myself to the next slide faster so that this is better. So financial documents. So one thing that you will understand is that for each slide, I prepare a day in advance or on that day itself. So it is not that that I have the slides prepared. It's a continuous process where I have to plan and do. So there are a lot of modification and addition that I do depending on how situation changes. So these are updated knowledges that I've shared with you guys, and that old slides shows that basically I use file save as, and I use that same presentation and delete the old slides and add new slides. So I forget to always, for the last 2 days, I've been forgetting it to basically change the slide. So do take the benefit. So most of the documentation processes, that is statement of purpose, letter of recommendation, and today's session will cover it. It is still not complete. Why not complete? Because if I am doing for all countries, all university, all levels, it is very difficult to put everything in a presentation format. Okay, because each university is different, each country has a different rules, each university is different. So, and at bachelor's level, master's level, MBA level, doctorate level, to put all those information would be very difficult. But most of them, let's say, I would say 85 to 90% of the information I had tried to cover in this particular documentation process. So today I'm going to cover the balance one. Now, when I said SOP, statement of purpose, I told you that it's your personal document. When I said letter of recommendation, I told you that your professor is going to basically talk about you. So it's very important that it is an evaluation, how the professor is going to evaluate you on basically how you are as a student, your quality, your aptitude, your liking. These professors can recommend for admission as well as for scholarship. And then now it comes to basically the other documents and the financial documents. Somehow basically all these documents are in relationship. Okay, they are in relationship, and when everything falls in line, then basically your documentation is complete. Okay. So understand whether your SOP, you are writing a story, has to be connected with LOR, and your LOR basically has to be connected few other documents that I'm going to discuss today. And finally, it has to be connected with your finance. Okay. So financial documents are other admission requirements for admission. Is the financial documents and other documentation required for admission. This is the topic for today. Let me start with the application checklist. Okay. Now, application checklist will tell you that what all documents should be there in the application. So first, you are going to do. I'm assuming here that you know the university where you are going to apply, and with that, you are going to do the online application for that university. When you are going to do online application, there could be an application fee payment. So if there is an application fee payment, then you are going to pay by credit card. Okay. If you are basically registered our counseling student, then we will do it for you. The statement of purpose is important. It is already mentioned. It's your essay where you are going to communicate to the admission committee why you want to go do this particular program, why particular university, why particular level. What is it for you? What are your strengths? What are your short-term, long-term goals? What are your dreams and visions in life? You are going to connect your past, whatever you have done, with the future that you are going to do. Letters of recommendations are important because it's a professor to professor level communication where your professors are going to communicate about you to the admission committee. Transcripts. Now let's come to the transcripts. Transcripts are mark sheets. Okay. So we also send mark sheets sometimes. Some university asks transcripts, some university asks mark sheets. So mark sheet is also fine. In some university asks transcript. So transcripts of, let's say if you have done 3 years and 3 years of education, if you are basically some country like USA, Canada requires for, if you are going for masters, it requires 4 years. Or even if you are doing for your bachelor's, they require 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Some universities just require 10th and 12th, major years. So it depends from university to university. So some university will require last 4 years of your education, plus probably your 10th and 12th if you have done your bachelor's. Some university will require last 4 years of your bachelor's and just basically that, and then your 10th and 12th. Some may require for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th if you are going for a bachelor's. Some may require only 10th and 12th if you are going for your bachelor's. They may not require 9th and 11th. Now, suppose you are studying your 12th and you want to go after your bachelor's. Just basically your 10th and 11th could be sufficient for some, and some may ask for 9th, 10th, and 11th. What they are looking is your consistency in your academics. How consistent you are in your academics, because that is well valued. If you are not consistent, then probably they may not be able to understand what should be expected from you. But if you are consistent, they will be able to understand that what can be expected from you. That's the difference. But again, as I've said, some may not ask for all years, some may ask for just major years also. So look at the university and then you have to get your mark sheet or transcripts. So these are important. If you're going for your, let's say, PhD program, then you will have to get your bachelor's, your master's transcripts so that you can go for your PhD program. So it's like 4 years of bachelor's and probably 2 years of master's. Transcripts would be there for your PhD program. Mark sheets attested or notarized copy. As I've said, mark sheet also is accepted. Now, some may ask you for attested mark sheet, attested by the respective institute. So if you are going from, if you have done from A engineering college, A engineering will put a 2 copy on that copy. So that is called attested and will sign it. So that is called attested. Or some may ask for a notarized copy, that red big stamp seal that you see, that is called notarized in India. So it's mentioned notary. So that seal is put. So some accept notarized copies. You can also, some university ask for a link for online mark sheet, because now in India you have this online mark sheets available. The government has made it available, so you can share the link with them. You can give an access to them. Okay, or your school or college can email it directly to the institution. Some may ask you that, and some may tell you to courier the transcripts. So these are different ways, basically, how it can be asked. So normally in today's time, transcripts are told to be uploaded. So scanned copies uploaded. So that is a good. And once you go there, later on, you will have to show the originals to verify whether the transcripts are genuine or not. So most of the universities will tell you to upload your scanned transcripts. And after you get your visa, after you join the university, you will be told to show your originals. So that is how mostly it works. But since different universities act differently, I have tried to include all of them, not trying to confuse you, but to explain you how this works. And in case this confuses you, that means you need a study abroad counselor, because study abroad counseling is a complex process. So do take a counseling advice or a counseling service where they will guide you for the study abroad process. Uh, there is also a need for essays. So some of the, besides statement of purpose, essays could be topic based. They would ask you certain questions. They will tell you to write answers on those questions, or give a certain topic. Will try to tell you to write a essay on that particular topic. There would be a word limit to test your creativity skills, to know more about you, to know how you react to the situation, to know how you form an opinion. All these things can be formed, could be basically the admission committee will know from these essays. Now, if you are going to be in a fine art, performing, visual arts, architecture, those type of programs, they may ask you for a portfolio. Okay, they may ask you for a portfolio. So portfolio is whereby they will tell you either you have to provide it into slide formats, or basically if they have different objective, they will tell you to upload on a drive and all those things. So you will have to do it accordingly. Or if you are going for acting program, they will tell you to shoot a video of yourself where you are acting, and then basically submit it on the drive. So there are different ways. Basically, if you are basically photography, you are going to show your photographic slides. If you are a musician, you are going to perform with the particular music, and then you are going to show that you have the talent in you to further study. So portfolio is required for people who are creative. Resume is part to show that you have achieved what you have achieved in the past. If you have done some certificates, extracurricular, if you have done very well in your sports, if you have won basically for your schools or colleges awards, all these things you can mention in your resume besides your academics, what you are doing, and basically your personal details. Your work experience proof. If you have work experience, show the work experience proof, because some of the basically programs like say MBA requires 2 to 3 years of work experience. So it does add value, and it is part of the admission requirements. Now, since we are from a non-native English speaking country, we need to take IELTS, TOEFL, or PT or Duolingo, one of these tests. Normally, most acceptable is IELTS. Okay, so you can take IELTS test, or you can take PT or TOEFL also. But for example, in Canada, if you are applying for SDS, which is a faster process of applying for visa, you need to submit your IELTS score. So it's mandatory. Whereas TOEFL basically is not mandatory for all countries. So IELTS is therefore, I say, more recommended, because wherever, in case whichever country you apply, IELTS is would be acceptable. Also, you may have to give some aptitude test, a standardized entrance test. It's not an entrance test, it's a scholastic aptitude test, competitive exams. So if you are going for an undergraduate program, that is after your 12th, you're going for bachelor's in US, or certain countries may ask for a SAT-1. Okay, SAT-2 would be required for top Ivy League universities. So you will have to go to the university website and check if SAT-2 is required. SAT-2 is a subject test. So they suppose you are going for engineering program, they may tell you to do Maths 1C, Maths 2C, and Physics. So these could be 3 subjects that they may tell you to do. These subjects is out of 800 marks. Okay. So GRE also basically, if you are applying for a non-management program, they will ask you to take GRE. So GRE is an exam mostly for US again. If you are going for electrical engineering, GRE. If you are going for computer science, GRE. So GRE is the common factor, unless you are applying for performing arts or basically visual arts, in which case GRE is not required. You need to provide your portfolio. So GRE, if you are again applying for some of the Ivy League college, let's say you want to go for biological science, okay, a research-based program, or microbiology, or basically solar cell, you want to do a research on solar cell, or plant pathology, or let's say you want to do it in genetics. So some of the top universities may ask you to do a GRE subject test, which could be a biology subject, or depending on what you are choosing. So they may ask you to take a subject test also. Besides this, GMAT is normally for MBA programs, management programs. GMAT would be required. So SAT-1 is for undergraduate, that is after your 12th, if you are going for your bachelor's, mostly for US. GRE for non-management, mostly for US, GMAT for management. It is used in US as well as in other countries. Okay. Some of the scores of standardized scores need to be forwarded to official bodies. So by official body. So official body is a test taking body. So SAT1 is College Board, GRE is ETS, GMAT is Pearson. They are the official bodies. So you will have to request them to forward the scores directly to the university. Whatever scores you get, that is called an unofficial score. The official scores has to be forwarded by the test taking bodies. Some of the university also accept unofficial scores, in which case you can send directly the scores to these universities. The passport is important, without which you cannot move. When you are applying for study abroad, without which you cannot take the test, IELTS or SAT1 or GMAT. So passport is required. Besides this, there could be a research summary. Now, what is a research summary? You have done statement of purpose where you have told why you have answered. So research summary is what you want to do and what have you done. So suppose I want to do genetics, okay, in a particular university. I want to do a PhD in genetics. Let's say plant genetics. I want to do a PhD in plant genetics. So I would say what I have done in my terms of basically in my education, in projects, in research, what have I done to basically make me qualify for that program. Okay. And that is how they are going to evaluate it. So what I have done in terms of will justify. So they based on that, sometime basically these universities also conduct interviews. So they look at your profile and they'll ask you on that as well. So that is called research summary. It is required by some universities. A course by course evaluation. Suppose somebody has 10th and has done 3 years of diploma. So now whether the 3 years is equivalent to 12, whether it is not equivalent to 12, whether it is more than 12, how will you evaluate? So course by course evaluation will do that, so that you know that basically if your course is more equivalent, you will get some credits. That is possible. But mostly what we do is internal universities have these course evaluation team. They do it. If they don't have, then you will have to do it from an external body like WES, EC. They do it and they send the scores to the university. So course by course evaluation. Similarly for bachelor's, if I have done my bachelor's, some of the university wants to understand whether my bachelor's in engineering is equivalent to the US bachelor or the Canadian bachelor's, and how much is my credits, because my credit was evaluated out of 10. I got 7.86. So how much it is equivalent to in terms of 4? In US it is 4. So how much it is? So you have to send the course syllabus, your transcripts to the evaluation body. They will do the course by course evaluation and send the score report to the university. Or in case the university has a team, then they will do it internally. So that is done. In case I have done 15 years of education, I have done my BCom and I want to go for an MBA program. They want to check whether my 15 years program is equivalent to 16 years of their education. Some of the universities in USA directly accept 15 years of education. So no problem. So there is no problem. Basically, they don't need any course by course evaluation. They have enough students from India, so they don't take course by course evaluation 15 years. Some universities required. They keep it as a requirement. So they required. Some basically, even if you have done engineering, will require it. Suppose you are going for a research program, they will want the course by course evaluation. They may require it. So each university is independent. They may have different requirements. So that is why I'm telling that in abroad, each university is independent, because it is very difficult to explain all these things, but I've tried to include all these things here, not to confuse you, but to understand that you will have to check each university before you apply so that you fulfill the admission requirements. Department correspondence, when you apply for a master's program or a PhD program, you send your application to the admission committee. The admission committee reviews. Once they find your profile good, they will forward it to the department. Then it is the department professor who has to evaluate. You will have to correspond with the department professor, tell them why you want to do that program, how is your profile relevant, convince the department professor that you want to work with them, and once they approve it, then the admission committee will send you the acceptance or the I-20. So this is departmental correspondence is required in master's case. So you will have to look into that. If it is departmental correspondence required, you will have to, in some cases, you will have to correspond with the professors, and after they approve, then only you are admission. Most of the student doesn't know this, and they leave it blank and they don't get the admission. If you are applying for European countries, let's say Germany, you may have to take German language in public universities, which can be up to B1, B2 level. There could be university which can also take the German language test. So it depends upon which country you are choosing. There could be some university specific test also in some universities, which you will have to take. Suppose you are applying for a biology program, they may ask you to take a biology test. The university will arrange that test. You will have to take that particular test. If you are applying for medical, let's say to Italy, then you may have to take IMAT, International Medical Aptitude Test. So this test is required, and based on the scores, you will be able to get admission. So in different universities, different requirements. So there could be for medicines in Italy, you may need to get a IMAT test. Now, once all this thing is done, then I come to the financial documents. The financial documents is one, bank letter. Bank letter is important. I will explain you in the next slide. And next is affidavit of support. Bank letter is required because the university wants to see that you have funds, and they will tell you to show 1 year of funds, which includes your tuition, accommodation, living. The university will tell you the amount. That amount you have to show it in your bank, and that university will take that as the amount and you issue I-20 to you. Affidavit of support is, suppose you are not showing your funds, your parents are supporting you, then you will have to get an affidavit of support or a sponsor statement from your parents, and based on that, they will basically issue the I-20. So they two are related. And you also have to check, besides all this that I have said, there could be any other specific requirement. So visiting the university website, the program is very must. Unless until you do that, you check your emails, as I've told you earlier, because you will get regular correspondence on your email. So you will understand this better. Regarding the bank letter, it has to be on the letterhead of the bank. It has to have a date. Okay. If it is basically from your father, then your father's name would be there. Your father's relationship with you, your father, it has to be from a saving bank account. It has to be from a saving bank account, not a current bank account. So father's saving bank account number, the balance in the amount in INR and in US dollar or in any other country, their currency conversions, the bank manager and the bank official name, the signature of the bank manager or the bank official, the stamp of bank, and the conversion rate. So if you are basically, if he has mentioned USD $38,000, then you have to mention 1 USD is equal to how much? Whether he has mentioned 78 rupees. So you will mention the conversion rate. So this is required. This is the letter. These are the things that are required in your bank letter. Mostly banks have their format and they know about it. But in case they don't have it, then this is the thing that is required for you to have a check. Affidavit of support is on the stamp paper. Affidavit of support is on the, Mandeep, your mic is on, I guess. Okay. Affidavit of support is on the stamp paper. It is normally on 20 rupees or an higher denomination. Affidavit of support has to have a date. Again, affidavit of support is normally if your father is sponsoring, your relatives can also sponsor, but not anybody. It has to be near relatives or your parents. So your brothers, sisters, if your spouse can also sponsor. So your sponsor name, that is your father's name, your sponsor's relationship, your sponsor should mention in the affidavit that he is willing to support you for your education abroad, whichever country, for bachelor's for all the 4 years. Sponsor is willing to support so and so much funds every year. Okay, whether it is $35,000 or $40,000 per year for all years. The sponsor is providing bank statement as a proof to show his financial credibility. The sponsor will write a full name, signature, the conversion, and it has to be notarized. If they ask for a sponsor statement, then it is not on a stamp paper, it is on a plain paper, and you will have to just sign it. So there is no case of, there is no requirement for getting notarized. So these are the very important documents for your admission purpose, besides statement of purpose and letter of recommendation. I hope this was useful.